I selfishly want this series to go on forever. This was comedy gold. I honestly don't know how much fuel I have left in my laugh box. I'm amazed with Sorochi's talent in comedy, even at this late of the stage. You wouldn't think that we're in the final arc with a serious problem for these characters. We are deluded by a series of hilarity. This chapter had me rolling with laughter from hilarious twists and a cliffhanger that got me seriously curious just to see how this will end. After the false death report of Bimbo Kosai, his face is covered in mosaic for whatever reason. Supposedly he's being recorded for a documentary. He monologued his life and his view on trash. He comes off like an old wise man that fulfilled his purpose within his family. It's no wonder the last chapter had a mellow tone. The way he sees trash basically follows the concept, one man's trash is another man's treasure. It's simple and delightful. Nice to see him moving forward to something he enjoys. Then hijinks ensue. To this day, Gintoki is still acting like a mannequin. I know he is hiding from his friends, but this is dedication level. Or even worse. It's funny how Ben uses him as something that defeats the purpose, or rather, wrongfully used. It was fine with him putting a jacket that reads third generation, a reference to a band. But out of nowhere, he uses him like a roach swatter. I believe I get the joke behind the third generation part. As dumb that was, he tops it with Hijikata, who still acts like a mannequin and uses him as a replacement. Seriously, he doesn't really need to act like one. But whatever, I suppose. Funny, he was written with YouTuber. Is this a message from Sorochi's to us? I completely lost it. With the next page, even the mightiest edgelord Tatsuki is caught in the middle of this stupidity. I don't even know how he was even buried in the garbage and still kept his cool face. Hijikata and Gintoki's reaction just don't cut it anymore. This is very dumbfounded. Someone has a grudge against the director since they suggest to write it on Tatsuki in order to make it a target practice. I'm sorry, but I'm still baffled by the fact this edgelord is in this mess, and I don't mean the garbage. He falls on Ben before any ridiculous stunt happens. I guess the edgelord knows his limit after all. It's the perfect time for the other two to roll out and escape. But no, grudge runs deep when they went over there to beat up Ben. That or trying to free Tatsuki, I don't know which, but they're pretty pissed off for a reason. Well, at least the documentary has ended. Can't wait to see the complete version. Finally, Gintoki stops playing as a mannequin. I was close to be convinced that Gintama is about mannequin. Funny how he channels the fans' thought about Tatsuki goofing around, even mocking his edgy characteristics. I love how this series is so self-aware and understands its fans. Then, a twist happens, and it turns out that guy is not him. He was wearing a wig. Gintoki actually believes that Tatsuki has gone bald. Wow, if that's true, his reason to destroy the world is definitely reasonable. It's even funnier that he asks him to shout out his catchphrase. I cannot believe this series is really mocking itself. But I gotta say, it's a shame that it wasn't Tatsuki in the first place. He threatened the guy to swap places and that guy took the role of a mannequin. Oh well, it's understandable since Tatsuki is too serious for this type of stunt. Even Hijikata thought the same. Oh, how dumb I am to underestimate Sorochi. Sure, Tatsuki didn't act like a mannequin, but he still pulled a stupid tactic as he dressed up as a cartoon character out in the open. What's even stupider is he is even wearing an eye patch for the costume. Why? Why? This series is going to end me. Gintoki takes the wig from the guy to disguise as Tatsuki, or going by Nisuki. Now we are in the disguise arc. What a transition. Not even a page in, he's already stopped by someone. Well, what the hell did he expect? He is the most wanted man on Edo. When I saw Kunai, I thought it would be either Sacha or Tsukuyo, though more on the former. And surprise, surprise, it's Sacha. She looks about the same, just her uniform is revamped. It looks similar to Nobleman's, though later on, it's addressed that she works under Soyo, so that does explain the concept. Needless to say, she still looks nice. That was said, a new set of hijinks ensued. I'm surprised I'm alive to talk about this. It's historically funny to see how far Gintoki has to stick to the role, up to the point he has to rely on the special effect to display his intimidation. It is fourth wall broken at its finest. It is hilarious how Sacha didn't care about Tatsuki with his two eyes already signally fake, so she take out one. Irony. Gintoki's logic to recover an eye is to use a marker to draw a dot, and somehow it replaces its pupil, even if it is too large. And so the story begins with a fake Tatsuki. I love how Gintoki has to imitate him with his over-exaggerated edginess. It's so damn hard to take him serious with his disjointed eyes. His dialogue is so humorous. It must end with dark and sinister tone by default. The panel always darkened for dramatic effect with the kawa sound effect. It got to the point that even Hijikata took notice of his stupid antic. Gintoki goes so far to even reference a TV personality with Indian people don't tell lie, just for the sake of the effect. Now that's just being too desperate. For some reason, he transferred his sinister vibe towards a stranger because he needs to go to a bathroom. Shouldn't he cut down the charade when dealing with others? In a surprise twist, he asked for the bathroom because he was feeling odd in his stomach. It turns out that Sacha threw a kunai with a toxic that will force him to explode in his bowel movement. Now that is worthy of Kawa. Sorochi is genius on timing and execution. I should feel bad for Gintoki to be humiliated, but I feel like this is an indirect way to punish him for leaving them. He's now enslaved to Sacha, and in order to get the antidote, he must find himself. Go figure. The guy is so helpless. Any minute now, he will blow up inside. One of the dumbest, which there are many already, yet clever move is the bathroom tactic. And I am not referring to Gintoki's idea. He wants to go to the bathroom, but lies about Gintoki being in a convenience store. Somehow, some way, every single one of them is occupied by Shinobi. It's all according to Keikaku. Plan. Unbelievable. It's comical how this revelation transitions to a flashback, but it's a nice and somewhat touching scene. It's a shame that Zenzo did leave Edo after the war. Even with his latest development, he felt that he would have been a problem for Soyo, since he believed he's dangerous. This confirms Sacha to be the one in charge of Oniwa Banshu. It's a heartfelt farewell because how well they know each other. There's this undertone feeling that they can't be more than friends, especially when tough things get going. It's gentle of him to rely on her with utmost confidence. Hopefully, he does return later on, because she is using her forces to find Gintoki and force him to marry her. Sweet merciful heaven! This must be her ultimate trump card. Do or die attempt. Hilarious that she will bring him back by force, yet here he is on a leash. He didn't say the famous quote, "Wait for me," to her. Not to go into shipping mode, but maybe he's not not the one for you? Well, it is the final arc, so go for broke. I love how there's a store named Shits. What a fitting message for Gintoki in his stance. But it's not exactly what I thought, because he's awkwardly walking to the store. And when you see someone doing that, it cannot be good. He wants to change clothes now. Why? Because, well, let's just say he doesn't need to go to the bathroom anymore. Yup, it happened. That's just sad. What's even sadder is he could only afford a man's diaper, a perfect image to describe him in this chapter. My mind was blown when Gintoki decided to put an underwear over his face again. Why? because we are freaking back to the mannequin charade. Oh my god. At least I cooled down with Skuyo on the scene with a new look. She reminds me of the second movie design. I quite like the mature feel. I wonder if she has her pipe still. I also wonder if she can sense Gintoki, but not sure how to react with her being chained with him. It's nice to know that she is with Kyubey since they did form a nice friendship from the war. That said, that means all 4 girls are in one place. So are we looking at harem round 2? Even worse, Gintoki is wearing Kyubey's underwear. Yup. Our protagonist, ladies and gentlemen. This chapter was a trip. I laughed throughout the chapter, and it only differs in its volume level. The comedy was simply gold, with hilarious twists and turns. It's hilarious to have Hijikata being the spectator throughout, reacting with how we will react. It has one touching scene, and it was pleasant. The cliffhanger is very interesting, honestly speaking. Very curious. Where do we go from there? The editor's note says that Gintoki may die in the next chapter. Who's ready to say goodbye? And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. You know, it's funny, when you really think about it, there is no real progress to the story development. But that's a huge credit to Sorochi because he kept us entertained with his comedy. I felt like this chapter went on longer than the other one. I think it had 2 extra pages. I could be wrong. I was just sucked in with his comedy. Everything about it was pure gold, and I cannot wait for the next chapter just to see how Gintoki can escape from this. Will he escape from this? Will he get caught? Will something happen? Will Hijikata step in? Share your thoughts in the comment section because I would love to hear other possibilities. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.